Hi, in this video, I'm going to quickly show you a technique that I use to encrypt data from iOS / Cocoa app to an API server running on Rails and introduce you to encryption at the same time. Okay, let's just quickly look at what we're going to do. The first thing that we are going to do is we'll send a parameter value in encrypted format from our iOS app. And for now, I put it as a Cocoa / iOS, but let's just refer it to as an iOS. Anyway, we'll send that parameter from the app to our Rails app. And of course, the Rails app will take that encrypted value and decrypt it. And once decrypted, Rails app will send the plain text format unencrypted, or actually I should say decrypted format value back to our app, and we'll see that in our Xcode. Before moving on, let me show you what the code is. They are both on GitHub, and the first one that you see here on the slide is this entire screencast. So it consists of two basically folders. The first one is the Xcode project, and the other one is the Rails application, and that's in the first repo. And the second repo is the category that I'll be talking about, where I'm adding certain functions that which I assembled on the net and added my own things for initialization vector and whatever have you. So it gives you NS data the ability to encrypt and decrypt. Okay, we have Xcode open. As you can see, this is a very simple console app with a main.m with the int main method there. That's where we'll be running our experiment. So one thing that I want you to be aware is there are two additions that actually I've added to NS data. The first one is base64. And as you can see by the header file, I'm adding basically two methods to NS data. The first one is data from base64 string, which returns NS data, and the other one is taking the encoded string and turn that into returning it as a NS string. So this gives me ability to use base64. Second addition or category gives us the ability to encrypt or decrypt data, and using both key and initialization vector. Okay, so let's jump into the code. Okay, so let's look at the main method in our iOS application. As you can see here, it's rather large. So what I'll do is I'll take it into bits and pieces of where things happen, and let's go through the code. Okay, the first section of the code should be straightforward. As you can see here, I'm taking the key and initialization vector and actually hard coding it. And right after that, what I'm doing is creating necessary objects to send it over the wire. And right there, the last line, if you look, last line of the section, if you see it, the content actually I'm passing is called secret. I know it's bad, and I do apologize for my lack of imagination. And next section of the code is where all the magic happens. As you can see, the first thing that we do is we take the string and we actually create NS data in encrypted format with our key and initialization vector. And the next thing that we do is we take that NS data and convert it back to string, so we could actually pass it as a parameter value to our Rails application. And of course, I'm using a I'm just gonna blow out my mic, but anyway, PSSST as the key for the value that we are passing. Okay, and the next, basically the rest of this section, what I'm doing is creating the request and basically sending it. And finally, when I receive the result back from the server, all I'm doing is just doing logging it out to the console and what the results are, and that's basically ends the application. Okay, now let's look at our Rails application. It's very simple application, and first thing, let's look at the routes or routes. There's only one entry. There's going to be an encrypt controller, and we're just going to have a show method, and that's going to receive the encrypted data, decrypt it, and actually return that back in the body. Okay, now let's open up the controller and take a look. Okay, as you can see here, we have both key and initialization vector. I just want to touch up a little bit on the key and initialization vector. Now, a lot of people think that, oh, key is the most important. but that is not true. In our encryption, if you take a look at it, there are two components that in order for you to encrypt and decrypt. One is key, and the other one is initialization vector, and they both play a very important role in it because what happens is the initialization vector gives us a starting point that actually is extremely hard to guess. So I want you to take that myth out that you have a key, you could decrypt things. You can't. You need to have usually default is a 0, where they don't use initialization vector, and to me that's just insane, unless you're Microsoft and make the same initialization vector. But anyway, so just want you to know, in encryption there are two things, and those two things has to match in order for you to properly encrypt and decrypt. Okay, and give some love to initialization vector. Okay, let's actually go over the real decryption part. Okay, let's look at this line. This is the first thing that we do. What we do is we're taking a param, and the first thing that I'm doing is notice G sub. What I found was that with the Rails and certain web servers, and I don't know what the conditions are, but what I found was that whenever I receive a param with plus in it, for example, email address having a blah blah plus something, that gets replaced with space for some reason, and I have seen a lot of that. So this is my safety measure, where I'm just when I get a params and there's a space in it, I just replace with a plus. For this one, I think it makes sense. Of course, you would not do that with every single one of them. I mean, but for me, it makes sense in this case where I'm sending a parameter with that value that's encrypted and should not have any space. Okay, and the next thing that I do is I add that equals and /n. You might be wondering, what is that? Here's the thing. If you take away anything from this little stupid rant that I have right now, is that you need to add that in when you do a base64 decode. For some reason from iOS, when whatever the method that I used to do it, there's always that part missing, and nothing works. So after doing hours and hours of comparing bits, I finally came to that solution, and of course I know exactly why that's needed, but I really don't want to go into that in details because once again I just want to go have a brief introduction to encryption. So anyway, as you can see, we send the data over the wire as a base64, and I'm just decoding it. And the rest of the method is very simple. It's just decrypting it using key and initialization vector, and of course the secret content will equal to the word secret. Okay, finally let's run this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start the server on the Rails, and then go to my Xcode and actually execute. Do a Command R, and as you can see right there, the response data came back secret, so that worked. And let's go take a look at the what happened with the server log. And as you could see right there, if you look at that, the parameters being passed, that's complete. That's not secret. It's encrypted data. So we are actually successfully able to receive the encrypted data and decrypt it, and also send that content back. So you could use this mechanism to have a secure communication that's outside of SSL and everything else, to communicate with your iOS app or the other way around. So that's basically it. Okay, it's been a long time since I did any screencasts because I've been so busy, but anyway, I hope to do a lot more of these, and please let me know. You could always follow me at Twitter at rubyhead, of course my blog at blog.rubyhead.com, and you could email me for any questions or anything for that matter, because I would like to be involved in the community. So anyway, you can email me at june@juneworld.com, and of course I work for a company called Me Genius, which is children's ebook. So if you have children, then or have a relatives who are young, and would like to and if you like to foster the love of reading, visit the website www.megenius.com, and just me with the two E's. So until next time, ciao.